Doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do, hon. I will be joining.
Marlene, can you please lead us in the pledge and the four-way test?
The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test, number 1, is this the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Welcome to Boulder Rotary on this lovely Friday afternoon. It's sunny and warm. Thanks for being here. This is the best place to be on a Friday afternoon, whether you're here in the room with us or on Zoom, where I know we have a special guest. George Garmany, though, would you please introduce the guests here in the room?
Okay. By all means, if you are a visitor, if you're a visiting Rotarian, or if you are bringing a visitor with you, please stand up and get introduced.
Hi there, and I'd like to welcome Elizabeth Barraquette. She is here courtesy of Ronnie Wells, who's been encouraging her to come, and we're trying to convince her this is the best place to be on a Friday afternoon, Boulder Rotary Club. And my other friend is Susie Kowitz. Susie is a longtime friend and interested in kind of exploring some possibilities and options of involvement. So we're hoping that at some point when the time's right, we might just be the place for her. So welcome them too.
Thanks, George. My friend today is my guest today is Zoe Hart, and she is the co-president of the Boulder High Interact Club. I've known Zoe for 4 years, ever since she was in 9th grade. This year she's in her 12th grade year, and has done an absolutely fantastic job over the last 2 years dealing with COVID and lockdowns and everything else. And I also know her older sister, Izzy, who I was sponsored in Interact as well. So it's just really been a joy to get to know her. Anyway, she's going to tell a little bit about a project and an event that is happening on Friday, the 15th of April. Zoe?
Yeah, hi, thanks for having me, guys. I am, as Bill said, one of the co-presidents of Boulder High Rotary Interact Club. And we're really excited about the event we're putting on next week with Fairview High Interact Club. It's called Jam Fest. It's a battle of the bands, and student musicians from both schools are going to battle it out and compete for prizes. And it's all going to be a fundraiser for Marshall Fire Recovery, which is something we care about a lot as a school, because our classmates and teachers have lost their homes, and we want to support them, and it's open to the whole community. So yeah, tickets are $5.
It's on Friday the 15th at Boulder High Auditorium, $5.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, George. I want everybody to help me welcome back Mr. Paul Chang. He's a software director of software development at Melco in Westminster. It's his second visit to the club and interest in the club. So please help me to welcome him.
Okay. I'm Randy Butler, and I'm very happy to have two of my grandkids. Y'all have seen me do this before. My oldest granddaughter, Genevieve Bergier, and my oldest grandson, Jean Bergier, and both of them have a very strong and avid interest in what our speaker will be talking about today. I can't wait. In fact, one of them wants to design some of those things that go out into space.
This is my good friend Dexter. I gotta say, Dexter really keeps me smiling, and really intelligent guy, and best of all, he loves applause.
Hi there. I have President Chad's niece with me. She's also my daughter. This is Caitlin Anderson.
We want to welcome all of you who have made it to the room today, and we hope to see you back before too long. I'm going to turn this over to Vanessa for any online guests we have.
Perfect. Thank you, George. I would like to welcome any guests who are joining us via Zoom today. I believe we have Chad's dad also online today. If you'd like to unmute yourself and say hi, Glenn. Oh, maybe he's off for a minute. Alrighty, well, I don't believe we have any other guests online, so welcome everybody, and I hope you enjoy the program.
Thank you, Vanessa. Welcome guests and visitors. Bill Anderson is going to come up next and do a blue badge transition with Stan Grelnick.
Hi, folks. I'm so happy to reintroduce Stan Grelnick to our club. Today is his red badge transition to blue, and Don Walford and I are Stan's sponsors. Stan holds advanced degrees from Penn and Yale and a postdoctoral certificate in the history of science in America from the Smithsonian Institution. Stan also holds certificates in business administration and mediation. As a historian, he published a book and numerous academic articles. Stan and his wife, Alyssa, moved to Boulder in 1973. He taught at the Colorado School of Mines until 1980, and she taught at the University of Colorado until 2015. Stan's second career was as a distressed loan commercial banker, first at the headquarters of Chase Manhattan in New York, and finally at Bank of the West in Denver. After retiring in 2010, he served as a mediator in Jefferson County, as community member in the Longmont Restorative Justice Program, and on nonprofit boards including the Boulder College of Massage Therapy, the Rocky Mountain Center for Musical Arts, and Pro Musica Colorado Chamber Orchestra. Stan joined BRC in hope of finding new volunteer projects without fixed schedules so he can travel more spontaneously to visit the world. His son Daniel, a high school teacher in New York, and his daughter Joanna, a massage therapist in Ridgeway, Colorado. We hope that in his first 6 months of Rotary, Stan has found to be true the advice he received from fellow Rotarian Dr. Nelson Trujillo, that being in BRC can benefit his heart as well as the community. Please welcome Stan.
Well, I had prepared a half-hour acceptance homily, but Chad tells me I only have 30 seconds. So I want you to know that the text comes from First Casablanca verses 727 narrow to 787 wide. And you'll remember when Captain Renault walks in, he says, "I'm shocked to see that there's gambling going on in this establishment." Well, I am shocked that this establishment has promoted me to blue badge when I haven't even earned it yet. I've done so little public service in the first 6 months. But I hope to do a lot more in the future and earn your trust.
Let's be sure we get Stan on some committees. That sounds like a call to action right there. So rumor has it, Caitlin Anderson took Bill's raffle ticket today, which is a good thing. So let's do the raffle. The winner is 725573. (725573). There you go. We've once again avoided Anderson Gate. So I have several announcements here today. The first is that the spelling bee took place last week. It showcased the remarkable work of 46 students from 44 different schools and their quest to reach the National Spelling Bee. So I'd like to thank Norris Hermsmeyer for once again spearheading those efforts, and I'd like to ask everyone who volunteered to please stand and be recognized. Next up on the agenda, April 30th, is the Battle of the Books. So please see Linda Niels about that. She has the table set up in the back. There's also flyers, which I know there are some of the tables, and we can leave these over on the side, but just scan the QR code there and you can sign up for that. Another announcement, Rotary 101 will be held on April the 26th. This is a basics of Rotary, pretty much anything you need to know to get started in the organization. Again, that's April the 26th, and you can register on the district website. Another district announcement, the 5 Points Rhino Denver Rotary Club, that's a mouthful, is holding their 5th annual poker pub crawl on May the 21st. This is the sign-up sheet. All the information's on here. I will leave that over on the table as well. One more thing here, the Rotary Foundation Cadre of Technical Advisors is a group of Rotarians who volunteer to use their professional skills and technical expertise in Rotary's areas of focus to advise Rotarians who are planning and working on Rotary Foundation grant projects. And I'd like to congratulate Meryl Glustrom for being named as one of these advisors. The 9 Mile Corner Pillars project is gaining a lot of information, a lot of traction in the media, PR. There is an article in timescall.com in which Bill Meyer provides some great quotes on Boulder Rotary's efforts there. And then again in the Daily Camera this morning on section B, there is an article on the pillars as well, so be sure to check that out. Lastly, just before Marlene comes up here, I was driving the other day, dropping my son off at school or picking him up at school, and I came down the hill and I look up and I see fire again. And of course, then I pick him up and I'm driving on Arapahoe and I see like floods and buses in sinkholes. And if you're looking for the 10 plagues, like wait till next week. That's next week's program. But I think the point is that we're going to be exposed to these fires over and over again. We've seen 3. I heard somebody today talking about being evacuated 3 times in the last 3 months. We're going to try to do something about that and help people get ready. And Marlene's going to give us an update on what she's been doing with Rotary Emergency Ready.
I talked to you a couple weeks ago about starting this committee, and the committee is off to an incredibly great start. We had our first meeting. We have 16 members, so that is a great number of members to be involved, and of course, anybody else is welcome. Please just email me. Our next meeting is next Friday at 10:30 on Zoom. And so at our first meeting, we sat down and we created our mission statement. And so the mission statement is what we want to accomplish. And so the mission statement is that we're going to work with other Rotary clubs and agencies to create a model program for educating residential communities on how to prepare for a natural disaster emergency, evacuation, and recovery from the event. And so one great piece of news is that we're going to do this in collaboration with the Evergreen Rotary. They started the Wildfire Ready program, and they have done an incredible job. So they are going to send us light years ahead into this project. And so they have things they want to do that they don't have the manpower to do. So we're going to help them meet their goals and make some changes and advance things. And they're giving us their website, they're giving us all their brochures, they're giving us all their vetted information. And so it's absolutely incredible. I couldn't be more thrilled. And the other thing that we managed to do is we're going to start a weekly tip of the week. So it'll be an emergency ready tip of the week. And you'll see that in the brew, you'll see it on Facebook, and you'll see it in the rib. And so we have all great kind of like one little, sentence things of things you can do to get ready to do a wildfire. And then if I can see a hand, how many of you have a childhood fantasy of driving a fire truck? Raise your hands. Even an adult fantasy, Well, the Evergreen Rotary has their fire truck, and they've agreed to bring it down here for our events. And so hopefully I can work with them and put together a fundraiser to sell tickets, and all you childhood people, even you adult people, can get behind the wheel and drive a fire truck. So thank you.
Thanks, Marlene. Next up, I don't know if you guys have kind of seen a theme that we've had over the last month or so, but we've been trying to update everyone on Ukraine and what's happening over there, providing some insight and even discussing some of the efforts that Rotary is going to undertake in helping the victims. Mike Brady is going to give us our next update on Ukraine.
Well, thank you, President Shad. So I was asked to speak about my recent trip to Poland. And let me just give you a little bit of background first. I'm a board member of a small charity called Frontier Horizon. We support orphanages in 3 countries, Nicaragua, Colombia, and a country that we've heard an awful lot about recently, Ukraine. 80% of the kids that we support are from Ukraine. Now, here in the United States, we moved from the orphanage system to the foster care system right after World War II. But in Ukraine, they still have the orphanage system. These are kids who, for whatever reason, their parents aren't able to take care of them. Either they have no parents, or the parents have drug problems, or they're in jail, or they just simply have too many kids and the grandparents can't help out. So on February 24th, Russia invades Ukraine and a refugee crisis began. So the organization that I volunteer with has supported orphanages in Ukraine since the mid-1990s. And in, I'm just going to, in Odessa, which is in the south, that's the the lower circle, is on the Black Sea. We have 5 orphanages that we support. So within a week of the invasion, we worked with those directors and they got on a train. They went up through Lviv, all the way through to the border into Poland, and are currently right outside of Warsaw. In Kiev, which is the circle to the right, it was a little bit more difficult. We ended up, we couldn't get the kids out, so we ended up renting buses at a huge premium and got the kids west and over the border. So as of March 4th, we had 150 kids in this big conference center with 700 other kids in a big conference center. It's sort of like the Millennium Hotel times 3. It's just absolutely huge. So I flew out a week later with our founder Vinny and our executive director Tom with 4 goals. The first was to ensure with our own eyes that the kids were safe. Number 2, find out what they needed that wasn't being met. Number 3, what local Polish contacts could we make to help them out, the directors and the children, once we left? And number 4, how could we expand our scope and work with other directors of other orphanages, since there's all these kids right there? So the first thing that we determined was that the kids were safe. Their basic needs are being met. They were secure and they had food. There are 8 to 10 kids in a room, which, you know, there's 2 to 3 on every one of those beds. It's not a big deal for them. They're kind of used to it. As a matter of fact, this conference center was actually pretty nice. So for some of them, it's actually an upgrade from what they're used to. These are just some girls that followed me around all afternoon. So I took lots of pictures. Here they are in arts and crafts. And these boys, they just sat down next to me. They were so bored that sitting next to an adult from another country who didn't speak their language was more exciting. So that's the first thing that we did, is we realized that they were bored. They left with their clothes and their shoes and nothing else. Nothing to do, no books, no tablets, nothing. So first thing we did is went out and bought a bunch of sports equipment. So I know all about Foot Locker and the sports things of Warsaw. We bought soccer balls, basketballs, frisbees, bubbles, etc. And here I am giving some of them out to the kids. All right. The next day we realized the kids only had 1 pair of shoes. So then we went out and bought a bunch of shoes. I bought 50 or 60 pairs of shoes. We're not exactly sure what we're going to do in 4 to 6 months. I mean, they're kids, they grow. And how would you feel if you were wearing the same clothes for months on end? So that's a real problem. They're supposed to go back to school. So I was there on a Monday and a Tuesday. They were supposed to be in school already, but nobody had any tablets, and there were no teachers. So they had to do it online, but they had no tablets. So we went out and we bought I went from electronics store to electronics store because there was no Amazon of Poland, come to find out. And I bought all these tablets, $138 10-inch Chrome tablets, and then we distributed them. So here they are, all happy with the distribution. We also bought some school supplies for the kids, and we bought them for anybody who needed them, not just the orphanages that we had existing relationships with. This particular photo is kind of a sad one. I took this photo, and then I went outside because it's kind of boring to watch people check out. And the director was kind of talking with our interpreter, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Well, this boy right here on the left, his mother died 3 or 4 years ago from cancer, and his father died the night before, but he wasn't told yet. And so the director was trying to figure out how to tell this boy, and so he found out later on after this photo was taken. We met with other directors to foster a relationship with them. We've doubled the number of kids in Odessa that we're working with. Here's some of the directors. This is the dining hall where everyone's eating, and then the kids were sharing KP duty. I'm not really sure how they were doing that. I got busy and didn't ask. You'll notice in many of my pictures that it's children and women, and that's because the men were not being allowed to leave Ukraine. And that's relevant because Ivan there is my new best friend. When he was younger, he was part of orphanage number 5 in Odessa. He, of course, became an adult, went to community college, went to chef school, and is now a chef on an international ship off the coast of Spain. His wife and their 3-month-old baby were there with the rest of his family. So instead of going back to Ukraine when they were invaded, he went up to Poland, put them on a train for 18 hours. They're on this train. Planes are going over. He can kind of talk to them a little bit on the phone, and then he met him at the border. So there were 10 family members that he now is responsible for. There's 2 apartments that they have. I went and visited them. They're like a dorm room, and there's 10 people. Him and his siblings and their kids and things of that nature. So the kids are not fully aware of everything that's going on. When I was there, when I showed up, they'd been there a week. By the time I'd left, they'd been there 2 weeks, and it felt like summer camp. The real question is, as this goes on month by month, what's going to happen? There were no TVs in the room, so they're not watching they're not watching news. So they're really just hanging out together and talking and pretty bored. This past week, this was just last Friday or Saturday. This is in Kiev. This is one of the orphanages. It was bombed and destroyed. Some of the local volunteers were killed, but we got all the kids out, so the kids are safe. The kids from Kiev are all in Germany, and I might go there in the next month or 2 to pretty much do the same thing, see what they might need that the government agencies are not taking care of. So that's my trip. I'm happy to take questions at the end of the meeting. While I'm up here, completely different topic. There's a lot of organizations doing good work in the world, and you're a part of one of them. Boulder Rotary Club and the Boulder Rotary Club Foundation gives almost $100,000 a year to our local community and our global community. $70,000 of it is for youth in our community. And so that money, we have a fundraiser on May 6th, and you can be a part of it. The money doesn't just fall from the sky. We have to proactively work hard in order to provide the funds so that we can change the community into what we want, to make it better. It's May 6th, 5:30 p.m. at the Boulder Country Club. And we've had COVID restrictions for 2 years. Aren't you ready to go out on a Friday night at the Boulder Country Club, get dressed up and have fun with your friends, have a great program, celebrate others in our community, because we're going to have non-Rotarians that we're going to celebrate that are making a huge impact in the Boulder area as well. And there's going to be a paddle raiser so that we can support. A lot of times people say, hey, how can I help? How can I do this? We need sweat equity. We also need financial equity as well. And so I think combined between the two, you can be a part of it. How do you do that? You talk to Vanessa, Kitty, or Sally. You can buy your tickets online at boulderrotary.org. There's an event tab. On most of the tables, there's a QR code. You take a picture of the QR code and it takes you right to the page where you can buy your tickets. Tickets are $100 per person, $200 for two of them. You get it, all right? If you own a business and you want to take all of your clients, or at least your top clients, this is a great opportunity to do it. I'm going to be the MC. I'll be running the paddle raiser as well. I'll try to be charming and funny, and Daryl will be there too. And so May 6th, buy your tickets now. Thank you. Oh, you can also text, but go see Vanessa.
I think we may have the next campaign for Mars Bar, delivering the Big Crunch. Although it doesn't have a cookie inside, does it? It's just peanuts, I think. Fred, can we roll the videotape?
Last Saturday, an intrepid group of Boulder Rotarians went back to school, Platt Middle School to be exact. Arriving at 7:30 in the morning, the crew of Rotarians welcomed students from grade schools and middle schools from nearly every school in the Boulder Valley School District for the regional spelling bee. Each of the 44 students that competed that day had already won their school spelling bee. They were competing to go to the nationals. Thanks to all that came out and had fun volunteering, and many thanks to Norris Hermsmeyer, who's organized volunteers and funding for this event for many years. And thanks to Boulder Valley School District for great treats, well-organized work, and the extraordinary students who are better spellers at 10 than I've ever been.
Boulder Rotary is thrilled to announce that for the first time since early 2020, our Red Badge Breakfast will be in person at the Buff Restaurant from 7:15 to 8:30 a.m. next Thursday, April 14th. The Buff is located at 2600 Canyon Boulevard right here in Boulder. The theme will be international service, and we have some really phenomenal programs to discuss. For those who might need a reminder, these breakfasts are a great opportunity to meet some of the dynamic folks and programs that make BRC so special and learn about ways to get involved. It's also a nice place to have some coffee and eat breakfast if you are so inclined. And big spender Bill Anderson has says he will pay for everyone's parking and all the water you can drink. Crushed ice not included. So if you have any questions about any of this, don't hesitate to email Bill Anderson, Susan Connolly, or Karen DeBarlo.
April 22nd is Earth Day 2022, and we have an amazing day scheduled for you. It starts with a program by David Skaggs, three-term congressman, lawyer, educator, and environmentalist. Then, after the meeting, we'll all make our way to downtown Boulder, to the Boulder Library Auditorium for the dedication of Boulder Rotary's gift to the city of Boulder for the Infinite Walk of Peace. It's going to be a celebration. There'll be music, and you'll hear from lots of friends, including President Chad, Boulder Rotarian and Executive Director of the Museum of Boulder, Lori Preston, Geraldine from Toward Right Relationships with Native People, Mayor Aaron Brockett, City Manager Nuria Rivera Vandermeed, Gordon Gamm, Patty Limerick, and David Skaggs will all participate in the celebration. After the dedication, you may want to take a moment to walk the Boulder Rotary's Infinite Walk of Peace, or walk over to the Museum of Boulder to see the Boulder Strong exhibit before it ends. This incredible day would not be possible without the dedicated work of Boulder Rotarians through many committees, the Centennial, Peace Builder, Preserve Planet Earth, Behavioral Wellness Committees, as well as Club 1919, the Museum of Boulder, and the City of Boulder. Help us celebrate the 52nd Earth Day, April 22nd, 2022. Bring your friends and family. It is going to be a great Earth Day.
Boulder High School and Fairview High School Interact Clubs have organized a Battle of the Bands fundraiser to support victims of the Marshall Fire. 7 student bands will be competing for store credit at HB Woodsongs, professional recording time at Coop Studios, and radio airtime on local station KGNU. There'll be Noodles and Company, Blackjack Pizza, and more during the intermission. All proceeds will be donated to the Boulder County Community Foundation Wildlife Fund. Friday, April 15th, the doors will open at 7 p.m. at the Boulder High School Auditorium. $5, payment at the door, cash or Venmo accepted. 7 p.m., Boulder High School Auditorium.
Born in Eastern Europe, incorporating musical traditions from all over Europe, klezmer music is a Jewish tradition and a music of social gatherings and celebrations. It'll definitely be a celebration next week when Sheldon Sands, Sander Wong, and BK Khan play klezmer music for Boulder Rotary Club. It remains popular today because it was so treasured by the Jewish community that emigrated to America in the first half of the 20th century. And during the program, Sheldon will weave short vignettes about klezmer, the instruments, the composers, and the immigrant Jewish community. For this special celebration, Spice of Life is going to provide a lunch of traditional Jewish cuisine. It's going to be great. The program next Friday is just one more reason Boulder Rotary is the best place to be on a Friday afternoon.
You know what? I think everyone's going to have a great weekend.
I think we have Nancy Chinwagner queued up at the Web in Las Vegas.
Today's membership moment is going to be with Kitty DeKeefer. Kitty's there? Available. I'm just testing mic 2. Yes?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Kitty. I wanted to make sure I hear you. Okay, appreciate it. All right, today's membership moment is Kitty DeKeefer. She's been a member since April 16th, 2010. That's almost 12 years next week. Kitty was born in San Diego, California. She was raised in Orange County, California, and she graduated from California State Fullerton with a degree in accounting. In her professional career, she was a finance manager at NREL in Golden from 81-83, assistant controller for the Boulder Daily Camera from 84 to 89, a finance director, the development and public information director at the Mental Health Partners, and the executive director of the Mental Health Partners Foundation from 2003 to 2011. He's also an executive director of the Gamma Phi Beta Foundation from September 2011 to September of 2018. He's held various consulting jobs with the Rotary Club, the Foundation, the Fraternity Sorority PAC Board, and she's also a member of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. She volunteers like all over the city. She does so much for the city. So I'm going to just name a few. Honorary trustee of the Women's Foundation of Colorado. She's been chair of the Boulder Rotary Foundation Board of Trustee, board member of the True Hospice in Boulder County, and also a foundation regional volunteer for the Alpha Chi Omega. Volunteer work goes throughout the city. Past directors of the Human Society of Boulder, Colorado, Mental Health Partners Foundation, and YWCA Boulder County, Women's Wilderness Association, the Boulder Philharmonic Orchestra. She's just like everywhere doing her volunteer work. And great asset, obviously, to Boulder Rotary. Her awards were from like Women Who Light the Community '98, Paceset Award by the Daily Camera, Woman of the Year by the YWCA, and most recently last year, the President's Award from Boulder Rotary Club. She lives on her farm in East Boulder as a widower, and she has one son, Hunter, age 32.
Oh, thank you, Nancy.
First question. What do you enjoy for fun and hobbies?
Well, I enjoy volunteering, obviously, and I really started to enjoy my book club. I enjoy working on my farm. I don't have any big animals anymore, which is a good thing because it's really like green acres at my house. And of course, I like shoe shopping.
I forgot to ask about that.
Yeah.
Number 2, can you tell us what got you started volunteering in the community?
Yeah. I got really sick several years ago and didn't think I'd be around that much longer, and decided that I couldn't stay at home and drive my family crazy. So about that time, I think I met Janet Beardsley. I don't think she's here today. And she got me involved in the YWCA, and I found out that, lo and behold, I loved asking for money. And not that many people, I guess, like to do that. And consequently, I found out I was good at it. I was much better at raising money than I was at being an accountant. So hence, $100 million later, here I am. And the lines to prove it, right?
Thank you so much. And my last question, how has service above self made an impact in your life?
I think that service above self has been something that I've lived with my entire life. You know, when you don't have much when you're growing up, you appreciate everything that everybody's done to help you along the way. And when you first graduate from college and you're the first person in your family, anybody that helps you really has made an impression on you. And I wanted to make sure that I could always do that back for the community here in Boulder that I love so much. So, yeah, it's a part of my life. And hopefully it's a part of my son's as well.
Thank you, Kitty DeKeefer. And thank you for your inspirational messages for all of us here, especially the young people there. Thank you. Back to you, Chad.
Thank you, Nancy, and thanks, Kitty. We're lucky to have you in our club, and I'm especially grateful for all the support that you've helped me with over the last year, so thank you. George, we're going to circle back next week for birthdays, but I'd like everyone to give George a round of applause. I cannot think of a better way to celebrate our birthday last week than that special birthday song, so thank you for that. Rolling the credits on today, Stan Gralnick and Marty Evans, thank you for greeting us at the door. Thanks to Pam and Jancy for the desk. Thanks to Kitty for promoting the raffle. Thanks to Fred, Vanessa, Lynn, Cassidy, and Carl for meeting management. And thank you, Professor, for that out-of-world presentation. Yeah. Meeting adjourned.